you're a licensed counselor, or you're
Yeah.
okay? So why did you leave the profession?
I haven't left. I just came to my own business, right? Because of my story of just from where I work, just being, harassed and abused by my employee, and I wanted to have a private practice and do something on my own where I can be self-sustainable and have my own business, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's holding you back from having a private counseling practice? That was holding you back from that?
Well, just not knowing how to market and how to sell and how to.
Well, don't look right now, but this is marketing.
Well, that's why Scott created this for me, right?
Okay.
So basically, passion projects came up, and I really got excited because of the theme and the meaning behind it. Like, I wanted to do something more than just counseling now, because I wanted to, but that all ties in when I say having people heard, connecting with them, listening to them.
You see, counseling can take on different forms, and and so Dr. Phil does it on television, just like you're kind of doing it on television, but this is internet.
Yeah.
So the counseling is just the medium of communication, helping somebody break down barriers, things that are holding them back from being everything that God intended them for them to be. So you're doing that already, I guess. And now this is a medium that lets people know that you're doing it, and also as we're doing it here. See, for example, like when I come on a show like this, and as I'm speaking with you right now, I recognize that, yes, I'm speaking and I'm working with you, but there's a bunch of other people out there who have the exact same challenges that you have. And so when I'm helping you, I'm not just helping you, I'm helping them too. Does that make sense? And so the gentleman who you gave a breakthrough on the show that you worked with, and you worked through his issue, there's a bunch of other people out there who had a breakthrough too, because there's a lot of people who have the same problem. This is like group coaching without the audience right in front of you.
Yeah, well, you just actually said it. So I'm, I guess I forget when I get sort of nervous a little bit, but yeah, I just wanted to make a deeper impact. We're reaching a more global scale, like how you said it. You said it perfectly. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay, well, that's what you're doing. So now it's just about taking it to that next.
Well, mainly, I guess the main thing with me now, that with this passion projects, is I'll just ask the question. My intention right now to make, how do I monetize it where I make $500 a week with it?
Okay.
It's just packaging it. Yes, we just started it, and I'm having trouble with,
Well, there's a couple of different mediums that you can use. Well, one, obviously, advertisers, as you have a larger audience, having people who will want to sponsor the program because they believe in the vision, believe in what you're doing, and also it's providing an avenue for people to be able to access their products and services that they have to offer. And there's a number of different ways you can do that. One is through the direct ad itself. There's the click here for a special deal specific to this program, a special promotional offer that people can get. There's also, as people are doing this, you can also offer your consulting services. So you can say, hey, look, you know what? For those of you who've really engaged in this show and really got something from this and think that and believe that I can help you, connect with me. I can do coaching one-on-one, because you can do it on Zoom, Skype, all these different mediums. People can, you can give a 30-minute consultation, and after you've had a chance to speak with that person through the structures, because I'm sure that Scott is great on structure, you know what I mean? So he can help you create an actual structure. One of the things that I always tell people when it comes to coaching, because everybody wants to be a coach these days, and I said, well, more importantly, what problem do you want to help people solve? And then they start talking to me about, well, there's a problem they're looking to solve. I said, well, what problems have you overcome? Because a lot of people, the problems people want to solve are not problems that they've overcome. It's very difficult to be able to really have a genuine conversation with somebody about something that you have no experience with, And so, for example, when we had our original conversation, and then you had mentioned the area, and Scott had mentioned the depression, I dealt with depression twice in my life, you know what I mean? And coming into the education I have with one of my mentors, Bob Proctor, he taught me how to get control of my intellectual faculties and of my mind. And so as I was able to come out of that space, I've been able to help a lot of people as well. You know what I mean? So I can speak to it because I've lived it. I can speak to monetizing your passion because I live it. I can talk to people about increasing their sales because I do it. And I come from the world of direct sales. I'm not speaking to it from because it's stuff that I got in a book. It's stuff that I've actually done. I've lived. I've experienced. And so when people see the results that my students get, it's not accidental. You know what I mean? There is a science behind it. There are steps behind it. Just like as Scott's coaching people on how to get past addictions because he's lived it and he's overcome it in his own way, he can walk people backwards. So my first suggestion is to you is that you work it backwards. How have you been able to, when you've gone through, because I mean, depression is something that everybody deals with. I don't really care who it is. Everybody deals with depression on some day. Everybody has a day that's an off day. But what I try to help people do is not make it be an off month. You know what I mean? Because everybody's got things that don't go their way, that have challenges, that have issues. Everybody has it on some level. You know what I mean? Period. So it's a question of how do we manage it, and then how do we get out of it so that we can get into another space. And so as we're sitting here talking with each other right now, you can't be thinking about what's not going well in your life because of the fact that you're not focused on that. It's whatever you focus on expands, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're thinking about the steps that you've had to do, so whenever you've had an episode, what does Samina need to do to get out of that space? You know what I mean? Yes.
I've done that. Like, you mean steps like it's either drinking my water, being in a peaceful space, meditating,
and how, not just the what, but the how you do it. And I guess you know what I mean. And now remember, your techniques are your techniques that have been effective for you. Not all things are going to work for the same person because every person is different. They each have a different story. They have different issues. They have different challenges. They come from right. Yeah. But what you can do from a universal standpoint is if you look at the last 3 or 4 times that you've ever had an episode, and then you look at the steps that you've taken to get you out of that headspace and into a better space, then it's something where now as you're documenting that, because no matter who you talk to, everybody's got a routine or a system of that brings them from the dark place to a good place. Yeah. You know, everybody's got stages or things and different things that will trigger them to get them out of that state, right? And so if you have your steps, those steps become your programs. You know what I mean? Now, as a program, so now as you're talking with somebody and you're making that difference and you're helping them get that breakthrough, then you turn to your viewer and say, look, for those of you who got value from this, we want to hear from you. Please shoot an email. And if you'd like a complimentary consultation for yourself, you know what I mean? 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever that time period is. After you've heard them out, because one of your strengths is listening, right? Like this. And so as you've heard them out, and you've got them to be free in expressing what they're dealing with, then you're able to say, okay, because based on the different steps that you've got for showing people how to get out of dark places, now you can say, well, look, here's what I would suggest. We have a program. I've got 2 different programs. I think this one would work best to start. If you're dealing with depression because of an issue you went through with your parents, you know what I mean? Lack of feeling loved, abandonment, whatever the case may be. Well, then I've got a program that can help you with that. So what we're going to do is we'll line up over the next 90 days. We're going to set up X number of sessions. In between those sessions, you're going to have, in between those sessions, you're going to be given homework and assignments and little things to do, little steps that you're going to do, things to practice, so that whenever you run into that state, you're going to start practicing and you're going to work through this, okay? Now, when you've done the consultation before, well, I sort of skipped one step. Prior to giving the diagnosis, you need to be able to help them, give them at least 1 or 2 aha moments or nuggets where give them a breakthrough. Inside of that 30 minutes, you have 30 minutes to work this person through, to help this person get, oh my goodness, that's really cool, that's really awesome. Something where they're like, man, yeah, that's a really good idea. Something of value that you're giving them, that whether they decide to sign up for your service or not, they're still better off than they were before they sat down with you. Right. I guess so. That's the value that you're giving first, because you give before you ask. Because then once you've given that, and now you have your program, then it's about the ask. And so in terms of the program, first of all, before you get to the money, ask them what their situation is. So are you working right now? Where are you working? And these are questions that you can tie into the question, because you can find out what their situation is. And The truth of the matter is, Samina, is that because when it comes to money, even when people say they can't afford it, people can afford the things that they deem important. And people are talking about being broke, but the Blue Jays games, when they made the playoffs, those tickets to a beer is $20. It's like, and I'm seeing people who are broke at a party buying bottles. I'm seeing people who are broke buying cigarettes. I'm seeing people broke eating out. Eating out's a luxury. You know what I mean? And so they have money and they're spending it. So please don't confuse the two. They're spending it. The question is why you have to get them emotionally involved enough. Paint the picture for them where they can get emotionally involved enough to say, you know what? It's worth spending it with you. When people sign up for my programs, because I offer payment plans for people who are, and to help them get over the hump to get in. You know what I mean? Because I don't want money standing in the way, but they've got to pay for the education. You know what I mean? I'm not giving it all away for free. They came to an open session. I gave 3 hours. They could come up to the board, ask me any questions that they want. For a coach that's on my level who has the results that I've got to be given, they've got gold if they're prepared to go to work. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want the help. And if they don't see the value in investing in it, then it's not your client. You know what I mean? And not everybody's going to be your client, and you got to be okay with that. Not everybody. Some people, and the truth is, some people will see you, and because you're working, let's say you're working at your home, but they'll see somebody else working out of an office. That person is no better qualified than you, but just because in their mind, the way their perception of it is, I'm in an office, so this person has to be a professional. But a lot of people in office, there's a reason they got malpractice suits, right? It's because people with licenses didn't do a proper job. You know what I mean? So it's something where, I hope I'm making sense to you.
No, I mean, you're completely validating my point. That was actually related to my question. Okay. Everything that you said, we're already doing, and Scott has trained me in. And exactly your point, and Scott said the same thing, is that I'm getting stories and I'm talking to people is, yes, I can't afford it, or I don't have $20 to my name, and then we are giving providing stuff for free, but they never, and they said, okay, this is the upgrade. And then, I've done since the beginning of when Scott created Hope for the Soul Mission Marketing, we had these upgrades. They said, yeah, we'll look into it. And they said they got value, and then, never sign up for the upgrades. So it's just I know it's me, it's a pattern with me that I run in my mind that, oh yes, this person can't afford it. And with passion projects, we created that. We bring in 15 people for the month of April for free, give them the value, have them see the value, and then later we said, let's make it now donation based, so they make a donation according to the amount dollar value that they got for themselves. And that hasn't worked successfully enough. And then, I've closed two deals so far with passion projects.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Right. I did it. I had a breakthrough. Like the guy Richard who we're talking about, he invested $1,200, and then we said payment terms because he said I don't have the money.
Samina,
right?
the problem isn't them. The problem is your thought process.
Yeah, I know.
Because I really want you to get this. The reason that people may have discomfort with paying is because you have discomfort with receiving. I guess
that's true.
And so the issue isn't them. And I'm just going to share with you two little things that you need to consider. One is there are two elements to them. I'm not sure if Scott's gone through this stuff with you or not. So if he has, you can just let me know. There's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind or the analytical mind. So on a conscious level, you choose your thoughts. You can choose to accept or reject anything that I say or anybody else says. The subconscious mind is the emotional mind, right? Yeah. And so whatever you're feeling is a reflection of what's going on in your subconscious. You choose your thoughts. Your thoughts, they'll cause a feeling. Your feelings are expressed through your body in your actions or inaction, and your actions produce a result. Okay. Yeah. So the question really remains is, well, that's part one. Part two is on frequency and energy, okay? If, let's just say, for example, somebody is dialed into 93.5 on the FM dial, like this, can they get access to what's on 97.3 at the same time? No, because they're on two different frequencies, right? Yeah. They're on two different wavelengths. Yeah. You get what's based on the frequency that you're functioning on. the function right now, the functioning or the thought, your thought process, the core process is that I have a problem. There's a problem with making money. So that's the frequency that you're dialed into. And so you continue to attract more clients that are functioning in that space. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the idea here is that there are some coaches like Tony Robbins right now will charge $100,000, $500,000, $1 million for coaching for one-on-one, depending on, I think he charges like $100,000 or $200,000 for like a 4-hour sit down or something like that. You get to eat lunch with them, you get 100 G's. You know, why would somebody pay that and sit down with me and pay $1,000 for the exact same amount of time? Are they getting any more value from Tony than they are from me? No. I guess the difference is, one, supply and demand. He's got a name that's known. He's got huge demands on his time, and so he can afford to charge more. But outside of that, he was charging more even before he could, and even before he was as busy as he is. The reason that he was able to do it is because in his mind, this is worth X, and he presents and he projects that, and so therefore people are prepared to pay. So, what is coaching really worth? What is counseling really worth? It's a subjective thing, right? I guess. What difference? In my mind, I always ask somebody. I said, "Well, if I changed your life in X way, what is it worth to you? If I helped you save your marriage, what's it worth? If I helped you get funding for that charity, what's it worth? If I helped you do X, what's it worth?" The truth is, it's priceless. There is no number. You know what I mean? And so the only number that is the one that we create. And so we have to be the ones to assess, what is this worth? What is my time worth? When you're not comfortable taking money, what you're saying is that your time isn't worth anything. Now, why is time so valuable? Like this moment that we're spending together, why is this so valuable? Because I'll never get this moment back. And I don't know when my time is up. I don't know, like we're not, there are people who have left their homes today who will not return home. We don't plan to get into a car crash. We don't plan to be, to be walking someplace and some nut decides to start spraying the place with bullets. We don't plan on that. As you know, I was on my bed for 3 weeks. My back went out. I couldn't get out of bed without assistance. My mom had to help me. My mom was 5'2", little lady, had to help me get out of bed. I couldn't bathe for myself. I couldn't shower for myself. I didn't plan that. But my goals automatically changed from making money to walking to if I could just walk down the stairs.
Right.
Are you getting what I'm saying? So this is why time is so valuable, because at any moment you could get sick or injured. We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow brings. So for this moment that you can never get back, for the moment that you've chosen to invest in this person, what is that worth? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a question of self-worth, Sabina. What is it really worth? Like, is your time worth something?